Good day, YouTube. This is Jay Money with Falling Forward Financial. Just an update here on AMD. I've talked about them on the channel here a couple times. It's been a while since I've talked about them, but they've had a lot going on here lately. And just did a video on Google, and they were talking about AMD, and just kind of sparked my interest, and it was kind of a light bulb moment, if you will. And so here's the video about AMD. Like I said, I've talked about them on the channel. I'll go ahead and link the other videos in the description so you can find those as well. But I used to have AMD, as you'll find watching the other videos. I can show you right quick here as well. But I don't have any AMD shares right now. I wish I would have held mine, but didn't. My biggest semiconductor holding is Intel right now. But back to AMD, you can see they had their nice run up back in November to 161. Could have got a dip by there back in May of $73, $74. But they've had just a heck of a good year, even outside of this dip. So they're up over 38% in the last year. In the last 3 months, they're actually down 1.78%. In the last month, down over 17%. In the last week, they're up, we'll just call it 10%. And here's a look at today. So still in the green, but it looks like they're down a little bit. So, but again, this is AMD. If you don't know much about them, it's a semiconductor business. Founded in 1969, 109 million shares being traded, and that's actually above the average volume, so which is 95, so which is kind of cool to see. And 52-week low of 72.50, high of 164.46, and $148 million market cap, or $1 billion market cap. Here's a look at their ratings. 55% buy, and here's a look at their earnings. So they kind of kick butt on that one again. You can see they beat every earnings, so 76 cents per share, and they hit 92. So yes, and you can laugh at this, that was a stupid move, but that was a couple of years ago. Here's where I bought in 10 shares at $12.80, and thought I was big time trader. A couple months later, 5 months into it, and ran up and should have kept it, but that's besides the point. But I never have bought back in on this one. I've thought about it, but just haven't for some reason. So over here on Microsoft Bing, currently showing it as a buy with a 1-year price target of $148.92. And chip stocks roar back from bear market's edge ahead of AMD earnings, and so the chip shortage sector roared back from the edge of the bear market on Monday ahead of a fresh week of earnings and reports from AMD and other semiconductor companies. The PHLX semiconductor index briefly dipped its toe into bear market territory in Friday trading, hitting an intraday low of 3,147.48, 20% lower than its closing high of 4,039.51 on December 27th. Yet the sector roared back after hitting the low on Friday, and continue the gains on Monday's session at the current levels. The SOX is 15% off of its high, still firmly in a connection, but safer from a bear market. So it's kind of been up and down for the semiconductors for a while. I don't give tax, legal, or trading advice, but I do like to buy the dips, and anytime there's a dip, I just say that's a buying opportunity. So AMD's bullish outlook suggests it's gaining further on Intel. This is 5 hours ago. AMD rallied as much as 12% in late trading after giving a surprisingly strong sales forecast, suggesting it's making further gains on arch rival Intel. And that's my biggest holding in computer processors. So AMD is pretty much slingshot around Intel stock. Intel is up a little bit, but not anything near compared to AMD. Intel does give the small dividend, and we can take a look here at it. I don't have a whole lot in Robinhood here, but I do have some shares. Here you can see it's currently at $49.09, and they're actually down over the last year in regards to AMD. Had the nice run up back there in April, and I have 4 shares here at a cost basis of $48.11. So haven't really made much. If that would have been AMD, I would have had a lot better return. And it's been a while since I've even touched this one, but here's a look at the dividends. But back to AMD. Chips makers' first quarter sales outlook outpaced a Wall Street estimate on Tuesday, and AMD is reaching a level of profitability that's nearly identical to Intel's, something that would have been inconceivable just a few years ago. Fourth quarter sales and earnings also topped analyst predictions. So very good for AMD. First quarter revenue will be $5 billion plus or minus $100 million. Act like that's just pocket change. So plus or minus $100 million. AMD said that compares with a average analyst estimate of $4.33 billion. AMD's profitability is reaching lofty levels. Its gross margin, the percentage of sales remaining after deducting costs of production, will be about 51% this year. That's nearly on par with Intel's projection of 51% to 53%. Compare that with 5 years ago when Intel boasted a margin of more than 63% and AMD was at 31%. So kind of rivals going back and forth. I've talked about another one is Taiwan Semiconductor. Don't quote me on I think it's TSM, but I'm not 100% for sure on that. But I don't have any of Taiwan. But I have talked about them on the channel here once or twice. AMD stellar reports fuels chip stock rally. And as you can see, this is yesterday. Shares of chip makers, NVIDIA, I've talked about them as well. I have a couple shares of NVIDIA, Qualcomm, and Micron Technology Incorporated got a lift in extended trade on Tuesday after AMD Incorporated reports strong quarterly demand for its semiconductors despite global supply snags. AMD soared almost 11% after it provided an annual revenue forecast that exceeded analysts' expectations, pointing to the upcoming PC, gaming, and data center components. Rival graphic chip maker NVIDIA jumped over 5%, mobile chip maker Qualcomm added over 2%, and memory chip manufacturer Micron Technology climbed 1.5%. Today's after-hours surge in chip stocks is the latest in a recent bout of volatility in the sector. So I feel there's always going to be volatility in that sector, and just like any other sector, but everybody relies on chips. I mean, they're in cars, computers, you name it, it's got a chip. AMD charts stronger 2022 as data center revenue booms, shares surge, and so February 1st, AMD forecast 2022 revenue above expectations on Tuesday, driving its shares up much as 11% in after-hours trading, as stellar demand for its chip-used data center servers is expected to continue to drive growth. Relative to growth from the different businesses, the growth will be led by server. Chief Executive Officer Lisa Su told analysts on a conference call, adding that the server business would be very strong this year. And could be a very good chip year. I mean, they've had delays, you name it, so this could be the year of the chip. So If that case, again, I don't give tax, legal, or trading advice, just stating my opinion, and might be a buying opportunity on some of the dips, which any dip I feel is a buying opportunity. You just have to analyze the stock for yourself and decide. But AMD has dived deeper into data center, a market to capitalize on booming cloud adoption, while its agile model of outsourced manufacturing has helped the company pry away market share from rival Intel Corp. So, gonna be a constant chip battle between Intel. Intel is the big sleeping dinosaur, and AMD just kind of went around them like a slingshot. So, AMD stock rallies more than 10% after record results. Outlook blow past street views, and again, this is just dated here in the last day or two. So again, kind of some of the same information. So we'll just scroll through here and see if there's any thing that we have missed. But there's a look at Intel 4911, AMD 123. So you can see the history back in 2018 when I bought it for $12. And if we looked at Intel, it was probably in the $30 to $40 range still back then. But there's a look at Xilinx. I have not looked at this one, Semiconductor Index. I've never really studied that index. Here's the S&P Index and Composite Index. AMD 5.51 shares, or 51.51% shares soared more than 10% after hours, following a 2.2% gain in the regular session to close at $116.78. For the current quarter, AMD said it expects revenue between $4.9 billion and $5.1 billion, while analysts had forecast of $4.35 billion and forecast gross margins of 50.5%. For 2022, AMD forecast gross margins of 51% for the year and said it expects a revenue of about $21.5 billion, or 31% gain from 2021 record of $16.43 billion. Analysts had forecast of $16.13 billion for 2021 and $19.29 billion for 2022. Chips may be sold out for 2022 thanks to shortage, but investors are worried about the end of the party. And that's been the whole key behind the stock, is the shortage. What that's going to do to the stock. I mean, it's just been kind of volatile, and so we'll just basically have to wait and see what happens with it. Over here on Reddit, see if there's any relevant up-to-date information. There's earnings megatrend. I already went over that. Nothing updated here. Over here on StockTwits, currently at 122.89. Low of 72.50, high of 164.46. I think Tesla was down and it's back up again. For a limited time, we are opening our trading chat room to the public. Qualcomm earnings after hours to save this run up. Someone tell these morons to turn off the algo computers for a while. Over here on MSN Money, currently showing it as a buy, which is always good to see. Moderate buy here on Tip Ranks with a 30% upside to $160.12. But that's all that I have on AMD. If you have this one, go ahead and list it in the comments along with your cost basis. If you have Intel, you can list that one as well, or Taiwan, or any other semiconductors out there that you might be interested in. And if there's any other videos out there you want me to make a video on, I'd be happy to take a look. Just leave a ticker or the name in the description. And if you haven't smashed that like button yet, go ahead and hit that for me, as well as subscribing and hit the bell so you're notified of when the next videos drop. Again, this is J Money, Falling Forward Financial. Happy trading, happy investing, stay green. Cheers.